Good morning, everybody. It is 6:38 the next morning. Let's go check on this cooler, refrigerator, freezer, see if it's still on. Well, I guess sometime in the night, it wasn't using any power for so long and it just cut off. But as you can see, it's 45 degrees still inside. Wait for it to kick in. Let's check the thermometer inside and see. If you guys can see that, it's still kind of, there we go. Showing to be around 47, 48, 49. Saying 45, everything's really, really cold in here. Still, let's get a measurement inside here. $51, 50 degrees. That ain't bad. Everything's still really cold. Well, I guess after so long of no power usage, the Bougerv Flash 300 cuts off. Not sure what time of the night that it did cut off, but well, in a way it was a kind of a fail. In another way, I guess it was a lesson learned. And by the way, I did look last night, and this particular version does not have Bluetooth on it. In the instruction manual, it shows a version of it having Bluetooth, I guess, but this one does not. And look into the instruction manual or look up online to see how to keep this going, keep the power on this thing without it shutting off at all. I don't know if it will or not. These little things are really efficient. And you can see we've only used a little over 30% of the power in 12 hours. So, the Luko EF 15 liter fridge / freezer. First look, first test, what did we learn? Well, the first thing that I learned is that this little unit is pretty tough because, as you see in the first video, when I first plugged this thing in, it didn't work. So off the video, I was shaking it around, tumbling around, hitting on it, banging on it just to see if there was a loose wire, loose connection somewhere. And I was getting pretty frustrated. And then I got to looking into the manual and it said to check the fuse. And I'm looking around everywhere on this fridge. There's no compartment with a fuse in it anywhere. So I decided to turn it upside down and take the bottom off and look inside and notice that there was a wire, a ground wire, just not connected at all. So we plugged that back in and it worked just perfect. So first thing we learned, it is a pretty tough unit. It got shaken around and hit on pretty good. And it's really tough. You can sit on it as a stool if you want to. It'll work pretty good for that. The second thing that we learned, that this unit is very, very efficient. So efficient that the Flash 300 cut off sometime in the night. Now I know it got down into the 60s. I want to say around probably between 63 and 65 that night, give or take. And at some point or another, this was not calling for any electricity for so long that the Flash 300 just cut off. I'm not sure at what point, if nothing's calling for power, how long until that cuts off. I'll have to look into that and see. But there's not many videos on this particular model. There's not much information at all on this particular model, other than this little bitty manual, which has much of nothing in it at all. But very efficient, very tough, and it keeps everything really cold. So let's talk about the price point. At the time of this video, it is $199, and plus it also has, I think a percentage off, like a coupon or whatnot as well. But is it worth 200 bucks? Well, to answer that question, well, there's actually a lot of variables involved in that. Comparing this to a regular cooler that you have to fill with ice. Now, most of us have an old cooler laying around that you can throw a 10-pound bag of ice in there and it'll last maybe a couple days. And some of us splurge a little bit and have a more expensive regular cooler that'll hold ice for 4 to 5 days. So all in all, it's just about how long this thing will last. Will it last 30 days? Will it last a year? Will it last 5 years? It might even last 10 years. That's one of the variables involved in figuring out whether this is worth it for you. But if you're an outdoorist and you love solar power and you love power banks and you like gadgets, this is definitely worth the money in the long run that you'll save in ice, water mess, leaking in your vehicle. You don't have to worry about a cooler leaking in the back of your vehicle if you're using this in an SUV or a car. This will not leak whatsoever. And to make this thing even more efficient, if before you leave on your adventure, your trip, if you plug this in with your regular AC cable that comes with this at your house before you leave to get it down to the temp that you desire, put your stuff in there and let it get cold to the temp that you desire, and then transfer it to your vehicle, plug it into either your vehicle or your power bank, and it's going to make that even more efficient. And in the first video, we only used 30% of the Bougerv V, which is actually really, really good, considering this thing never used no more than 30 watts at a time. I only noticed it get up to 30 watts one time, and it wasn't long at all, maybe even less than a minute. It always stayed in between 15 and 20 something. You can see it on the first video. Look over here or over here. I'm not sure which where it'd be, but I'll put the link there to that first video somewhere up here. Just click on the little icon there and it'll take you to the video. That minimal amount of wattage used with Flash 300 is perfect. The Flash 300 is not a 300 watt hour unit. It's around 286, I do believe it is. 286, 289. It's close to 300 watt hours. And most power banks, solar generators, the rule of thumb is minus about 20 watt hours of what they say that they're rated. So if this one's rated at 286 minus 20 of that, say it's 260, 266 watt hours, and that'll probably be your true watt hours that you would get out of this if something was running continuous on it. Like if this was running 30 watt hours continuously, this would probably run a good 5, 6, 7 hours. So by just kicking in every so often when it needs to get back down to 10, I would say it would last a pretty good while. And I would say it'd be safe to say that if you're camping, and this is in the shade, and you have a Flash 300 or any other similar models of solar generators that gets anywhere between 250 watt hours to 300 watt hours, this would last at least I would say 48 hours on a single charge without having to charge it up via solar panel or your vehicle. And being that this is a 12 volt refrigerator and it comes with the 12 volt DC power supply that you can plug in like a cigarette lighter, you can use the solar generators like that or in your vehicle itself. Makes it pretty versatile to use in a variety of circumstances. So first look and first test, I'm pretty impressed with it so far. Is it worth the price tag? I would say so, as long as it lasts. And you do have, I think, a 1-year warranty on this, I do believe. But there is so many other brands out there. do your research, get the one that you need, figure out what size you need. I thought this one was actually going to be smaller than what it was, 15 liters, but it'll hold quite a bit for a weekend trip for my wife, myself, and my daughter. And we can also take a cooler as well with ice in it to hold all your drink stuff, and we can put like all meats and stuff in here. And if you use it like that and use this for your meats that you'll be cooking over the weekend, like your hot dogs and your hamburger and your chicken and anything like that, it'll be able to keep that temperature at a more steady rate than it would be in ice. An all-around great piece of kit to have with you on any road trip, I would say, especially in the summertime. If you're going to be traveling, if you're going to be camping, or if you're just going on a couple days adventure with some friends, that's definitely going to keep all your stuff good and cold and even frozen. And I'll be sure to put the links down below for the Luko EF15 and the Flash 300 so you can click on those and check out the specs if you'd like. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I do appreciate you coming by and checking this out and watching this video. Make sure to look in the description for the links. Click the thumbs up if you liked the video. Click the thumbs down if you didn't like the video. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on 12-volt refrigerators/freezers. If you thought about getting one or do have one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. Click that bell for future video notifications. Thanks for coming over. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. And as always, plan, prepare, and practice. Handi out. Well, let's go get a cup of coffee.